Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. Um, as the title of the video suggests, um, well, it actually doesn't really suggest. Uh, I'm making a factual statement that, in many regards, I feel like I fall into that category as well. Um, you know, since I graduated high school, I know my physical capability in a lot of ways has gone down. Um, I put on a bunch of weight that until they told me I was diabetic, I had no intention of trying to make it go away. And really, the only time I was super insanely active was over the summer, working at a scout camp. Um, but, doing that for 5 or 6 weeks at a time doesn't really help out for the other 11 months. And as a prepper, I think this is one of the easiest things that all of us can do to better prepare ourselves. Like, this goes beyond, thinking the world might end or anything of that nature. So if you think the same way I think, subscribe to this channel. It's going to help us out. Leave your questions down below. They'll probably turn into a video, or I'll answer them. And, we can learn and get better. And lastly, share this with all of your friends and family. They might find this stuff um, entertaining or educational or something along those lines. Um, I bring this up because I did my upper body workout yesterday. To preference that, I did 5-minute incline tread walk just to warm up. Did my upper body workout. It took 35, 40-ish minutes. Uh, I definitely feel sore today. Chest is feeling it, biceps, triceps, a little bit in the back, uh, and my abs continue to feel sore because I have been actively working those about 5 days a week. Uh, some days as light as just doing 1 or 2 minutes of plank. Other days, getting leg raises in and doing other stuff. And I quit running for a little bit because I started to try to get back into it. Knee didn't like it at all. Um, I was on my third or fourth 3-mile run in 1 week and got to the point where any movement hurt. Went to the doctor, had a slight tear. Said you're going to need 6 to 8 weeks of recovery. And we're on this is the start of, or week 5's almost over. Uh, said continue to do the walking, that helps. Don't do anything, insane. Didn't really help myself out in that regard. I decided to do a lap around my block. Plenty of stretches. I was already warmed up. And 0.38 miles in about 2.5 minutes. So a 17-minute mile pace. And then I did a few open stride, not trying to sprint, but definitely try to get the gait open. Just the length of the block. It's 0.11 miles. And it felt good. I did 3 of them. I wasn't going to push myself any further. And then I finished it off with another 15 minutes on the treadmill. All in all, my watch, I like it because it tracks my time in zone, and I got 51 minutes of intensity minutes yesterday, which the day before when I donated plasma, 20-minute walk on the treadmill, I got 20 minutes of intensity minutes. And I feel like doo-doo, cardiovascular wise. Doing some more research and stuff, and most Americans would feel like doo-doo. In fact, most Americans wouldn't even have done what I did as a workout. Not trying to brag in any way, but it's something serious to consider. Take your small victories where you can. I have a couple of family members that have seen what I've done in the last almost 8 weeks. I showed my brother a picture. I'm shirtless. I can kind of see the top 2 abs almost wanting to poke out. If I bend the right way, I can kind of see it. And that's never been a thing for me. And a few more people are inspired. The family is already eating healthier for the last 6, 7-ish days. And, it's something that all of us should be actively working on and getting better at. I don't think I'm going to take it as far as, it'd be interesting to be a personal trainer. Don't think I have the capital or the drive. I think I might have the drive, but I also live in a town of 5,500 people. Probably be a big risk. Maybe if I was in Dallas or Houston or at least a city of 100,000 people, could maybe make it work out. The incline bench, did 4 sets of 8, 25 on each side, which I remember in high school that was almost like a starting weight. But I look at it now, and that's 95 pounds. Let's see what the quick math says. That's about 75% of my body weight. I weigh a whopping 128 pounds. That is going up. A month ago, probably couldn't have happened. The push-up number, it's going up. Those are coming easier. I make the shorts of me doing 30 or 40 at a time. And I feel better doing that. I think I see the most improvement in my legs. I think a plate on both sides is 135. Yeah. So right now I'm at 105% of my body weight for 3 sets of 6. I don't know exactly what my max on squat is, but probably floating around the 125, 140% of my body weight. That's where I've seen the most growth. Never liked doing legs. It feels awkward. But I've been consistent with it for about 7, 8 weeks now. And that's where I'm seeing a lot of the improvement. I say all of this, if you want to see, pictures, you can. I was averaging probably about 135, 136 at the start of December. and now I'm consistently below the 130. Like, before I went to the bathroom when I woke up this morning, I was 129. Uh, so it's a little bit lower after you get rid of all that fluid. Um, cousin's losing some weight. The wife's losing a little bit of weight. Generally getting healthier. That's something that you can talk about amongst your group. Fitness can be, quite literally a strength or a weakness when it comes to your prepping goals and what you want to accomplish. It's better to start out in a healthier position if things are going to go bad than it is to have to like almost force yourself into that. I've been drinking about 4 of these at work, which is probably why I go to the bathroom so much. Because things are, not improving in a lot of categories. I'm kind of glad silver and gold is kind of making their corrections. Hopefully, if you bought in the ups and downs, you made some money. I held on to all my stuff. I did see a few, several $1,000 increase in value, and now that haven't lost all the value. I'm still up. I think the last time I bought silver, I bought it for about 40 an ounce, and I bought 3 or 4 ounces at the time. And I'll keep buying it. Credit card debt still going up. What we're paying on our interest for our debt still going up. Our debt since I opened the clock has gone up 300,000. The budget is going down, not as much as we want it to, or not as much as it needs to, but it is slowly decreasing. The amount of oil we're importing is going down. Trade deficit's going down, but the debt held by other countries is going up. Jobs are slowly increasing. They say silver slid 16% to start the day. Sitting at about 76 an ounce. Gold went down 2%, so it's about $150 lower than the 5K mark. The Washington Post fired 25% of its staff. The crazy one that I saw was U.S. beef is going down. They said we're at the lowest amount of cows since 1952. We have approximately 86.2 million head of cattle, driven by prolonged drought, high input cost, and liquidation. Someone had to do a quick print. But 12th year in the cycle and 7th consecutive year of contraction. Technically it came down 0.4% year over year. But, they are saying we think it's going to be a strong year for cattle. It's 86.2 from 86.5. beef cow down 1%, replacement heifers down 1%. The calf crop was also slightly smaller. Texas A&M University Extension Livestock Specialist David Anderson said the most interesting number in the report was the number of heifers on feed and its implication for herd rebuilding. Heifers on feed totaled 4.435 million head, down 140,000. 140,000 head decline accounted to a 3.1% decline from a year ago. The number of steers on feed declined 3.2%, and the total percentage went from 38.73 to 38.7. While the decline on heifers on feed suggests some more herd retention, the reduction in supplies from Mexico and heifers as a percentage of all cattle on feed indicates little herd rebuilding from additional heifer retention. So apparently the cattle industry is working on increasing their numbers. Of all the things I would want to do to try to help the country, I wouldn't mind getting into farming, but it's a significant upfront investment, lots of time, lots of energy. I think it would be awesome from the prepper homesteading side of things, but it's going to take a while before that would be a reality. I think if I hopped in the boat now, at the very least, it would help drive down the average age of farmers and ranchers. So something to think about. The big main point of this video was Americans are, overweight and weak. That's something that each of us as individuals have to do to tip that scale, if you use that analogy. So this goes beyond, oh my gosh, I think the world's going to end, have a bunker with, guns, rice, and beans. This is a everyday problem for every single walk of life. It crosses political lines and, age, race, sex, gender, every single person would benefit from additional weight training, additional cardio, eating better food, eating less food, drinking more water, just, being more physically active. And so, to end this, if you've worked out this week, tell me what you did as a workout. Maybe I'll make that one of my workouts. If you see other problems, leave them in the comment section down below. Again, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family. Like the video if you like this kind of stuff. Dislike it. Let me know, hey, quit talking on the internet. I probably won't stop. Maybe this will go somewhere one day. And catch you on the next one.